Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing my entire colored pencil collection of 2025. A few things before we get started. One, keep in mind I do run several adult coloring channels here on YouTube. Therefore, I am going to have more colored pencil sets than most people have or should have. I am by no means a hoarder. In fact, most of my sets I have destashed slowly over the years, but I do keep the ones that I either use frequently or need for tutorials, frequent requests and whatnot. But I do want to ask that if you have nothing nice to say, or you want to sit there and make snarky comments about someone having a ton of colored pencils, leave those to yourself. Not only will I just delete them anyways, but there's really no point. I'm going to have more colored pencils than the average person because I have a channel. I review pencils. They're sent to me by companies. So yeah, and then also keep in mind I am going to do a destash this year. So a lot of these pencils will be whittled down because there's quite a few I don't use, and that is going to be part of this as well. I'm going to let you know what I use, what I don't use, and go from there. So first things first, I have the full set of 120 Crayola pencils and then the 24 colors of the world. So here they are all swatched out, as you can see. Now this swatch chart, I have a variety of them from various sources. This is an Emily Illustrator one, but I do have an adult coloring channel that does nothing but Crayola, and then I've also had a lot of requests for Crayola tutorials. So I do plan to keep these bad boys. Okay, in this monster case, I have 3 sets combined. Now all 3 of these I tend to use for hair or stuff similar to that. So that's why I was like, you know what, they're going in the same one. So I have all of the Black Widows right down to basically every set they've released, including the latest Dragon. So I have all of those in here. And these are the Black Widows. This is a color family chart created by Color with Claire. Super handy because there are 180 of those. And then in this same case, I have my Derwent Pro Color pencils here. I use these a lot for hair. As you can see, they're pretty well used up. But fun fact, these are one of my older pencil sets. I've had these for a long time. And I've only replaced one color because they last forever. They're very hard lead, but they're great for doing hair. And I have the 72 count set of the Derwent Pro Color. And then in this same one is my Caran Pablos as well. Now I use them for hair, but I also use them for coloring. So I put them in there, like here we have some down here. And then here's the majority of them. I'm missing a few, but I think they're over there. I have like a bunch of stragglers. So I've got them in this case as well. Now these are 120 pencils. So it's a pretty fun set. I used to not like them. Same thing, I used to hate the Pro Color until I started using them for things like hair. And then I was like, wow, I actually like these pencils. Oh, and I'm not going to do my watercolor pencils or water soluble. I will do a different video for that because I have, well, enough to require its own video. So let me grab more. Okay, now this is the fun one. This is all of my pastel sets. Well, most of them. So up here, I have the Indra Pastels or the Indra Macaroons. These are so cool because they have the black wood and then the pastel lead. So they just look really fun. They are a square shape. They are my favorite pastel pencil, but you cannot get them, so it sucks. Then I have the Astra Pastel Low, which keep going through here. I personally don't like them, but I know everyone else does. I'm not a fan, so they're still hanging out in here. I also have the Shuttle Art Pastel Tint, which go along here. I actually like the pastel tints. I just don't like their price, but I actually really like the pencil. Then I have the Brute Fooner Macaroon set, which keeps going all through here. They are the biggest Holbein little knockoff you'd ever see. They really tried to pull off the Holbein. They're okay. I found them awfully scratchy and hard for being a pastel pencil. Pastels are usually pretty soft, so I wasn't super impressed, but this is where I keep all of my pastels in one because, well, it just makes more sense. And then I have a few combined in here. So I have my Amazon Basics colored pencils. I haven't used them as much, and I haven't seen a lot of requests anymore for color alongs with them, so I may actually destash them. But I have the 72 count, and then I also have them combined with the Winsor & Newton pencils. Now, I wish these were a better pencil, especially because the brand. Paint, yes, they're great for paint. When it comes to making colored pencils, they really should have quit. So I do have the Winsor & Newton ones, not ones I recommend though. And I won't show swatches of every single one because we'll be here till the end of time. These are my Faber-Castell Black. So they're the black edition. You're supposed to technically use them on black paper. They're triangular. They're really fun, but they're kind of like a pencil I would honestly never reach for unless there was a specific reason for it. And I can't even think of a reason for it. All right. Then in this one, I have my Brute Fooner squares. I love these pencils. I have 2 extra tins, but you can't find them anymore. Sometimes you look out and they pop up, but it's really hard to get these. So this is still my older set, back before they started putting the English color names on them. They're square. They're a really good pencil. I don't know why they stopped making them. It was kind of a dumb decision on their part because people were buying them all the time, and then I would stock up, oops, run away. I would stock up during a lightning deal, and so that's why I have 2 extra tins, but it's because you can't get these open stock. They're a budget pencil. All right. Then we have my Artics. I am slowly learning to appreciate the Artics pencils. Maybe they're not open stock. They are another budget set. Now they have the 120 out. I had started with the 72 and now I've got the 120. So they're not too bad. I'm still playing around with them and debating if I have a love-hate going on with them. Okay. Now in here, I've got another combo. So these are Crayola Escape pencils. You can't buy these anymore. They're the Color Escapes from Crayola. They're a harder lead. I might actually get rid of these. I never use them, but I had put them in here. And then I had put them with my Crayola Signature, which they finally brought back because I went to go get some supplies for my Crayola channel. And I was like, oh, the signatures are back. So I'm going to compare the new ones I bought to these old ones that I have. But these are actually a soft Crayola pencil. The Color Escapes were not. They kind of remind me of like a Marco Raffine. Very cheap, but still. Okay, so then we have my Faber-Castell Polychromos. I love polys. I just have to be in the mood to use them because they are a layering pencil, but very well loved and used, as you can see. In fact, I have quite a few I need to get on replacing. I do have the full 120 set. It's actually a really pretty set. Great selection of colors, multiple grays. I really don't have complaints. I honestly should use them more. It's just lately I've been reaching for my favorite, which are Prisma. Okay, I have 2 in this one. So first things first, I have the Lyra Polycolor, or Rembrandt Polycolor. These aren't as popular here in the US, but I was gifted the entire set, so I was really thankful for that. And then I have some spares because I was gifted a set, and then I think I had bought like one. And then I also have the Ergo Soft from Staedtler. If you ever watched Johanna Basford color, then these are what she uses. They're triangular. They're okay. They're not my favorite. I haven't gotten rid of them though because they were gifted to me. Same thing with the Lyras. I rarely use these Lyras. I may destash them. I hate destashing things that are gifted, but sometimes if a pencil, I haven't used either of these sets in 2 years. So when they sit there for that long, you kind of have to think, maybe they could go somewhere else. Okay, so in here I have the Shapi Farbins. I used to use these a lot, but then just better pencils came about, so I probably will destash these. I don't get a lot of requests for tutorials with them either, so they aren't a bad pencil. I think it's a 96 count set. Ow, got poked by a lead. It heard me say I'm getting rid of them. But yeah, I do use them for hair. They're great for hair, and they're still okay to color with. They're kind of a soft, but not super soft, and they can get a little dusty, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, in here is the most expensive set of pencils. These are the Creme de la Creme, most light fast you'll ever find pencil sets. So I have my Kure Luminance, which there are now 100 of. They had come out with that, you know, auxiliary set of pencils. And then same thing, I have the Derwent Light Fast, which they also created that auxiliary set. So now you have 100. So they are all in here together. I only use these on portraits or something I know I'm going to hang on the wall, because they are extremely light fast, incredibly expensive. And then I have this chart that actually combines both sets together, and then I store them together. So it's really cool. This was created by Amazon Tammy, and so she has them all in color family order mixed together. So it's a pretty cool chart. But yeah, I only use these if I know it's going to be something I put on the wall, because they are very expensive. I don't waste these precious leads inside of coloring books. It's mostly portrait work. So portraits that I plan to hang up, I'll break these out. I love the fact that you can actually blend these together. The Derwent and the Kure play nicely, and considering the Derwent are actually an oil-based, and yes, before you hop into the comments with snark on that, when I say oil-based, I'm just saying predominantly, okay? Whereas Kure is more wax-based, but they're both soft, they're both, you know, easily layered and blended, so they actually play nice together. It's kind of cool. But if I had to pick between like which one I liked more, I actually like the Derwent more. Something about their color range, and just, yeah, I feel like they perform a little better. I do sometimes feel like some of the Kure can be a little scratchy at times. But overall, still, this is my most expensive set of pencils right here. That right there is a very expensive little thing. As much as I would love to pull every single one of these tins out to show you the 500 sets or 500 pencils, I am not doing it. However, I have a whole playlist of every month when I got these, because it's a subscription that goes over 2 years, and then I have a whole review on it. But these are the sets from Felissimo. So this is kind of cool, right? It's 500 pencils. Each month you would get this cute curated set, and it would come with like this, so it's like pastel macaroon, you know. And then this is called the Sweets, and this was numbers 201 to 220. And it actually lists all of them here. But I created my own little swatch chart and started doing that. I haven't combined them, but I mean, they are really cool. And it was a fun little thing just to do in the mail. Do I use these often? No, but they're actually nice pencils. It's just you can't go and buy these open stock. So like once you use this up, it's gone. I've been meaning to combine them all into a single set. I just haven't, but they are square, well made, very soft lead, pretty colors. Like this was perfect for like a Valentine's Day. I need to, because I had a challenge at one point, and I think I'm going to break it back out again, where once a month I grab one of these sets and color a page with that set. because I have all of these boxes just sitting in my cabinet. So I think I'm gonna do that, you know what, starting next month. Thanks for making me do this video because it reminded me. I'm gonna just do a box a month, and if anyone has it, they can color along. If not, whatever, but then these get used because I'm not just gonna have them there for collection. I need to use them. But yeah, it's a fun one, but check out my playlist for this because this was a very long endeavor, and I do a full review as well. Next, we have the Kure 300. I am going to destash these, so if you're interested, let me know. But it's just still in the box here, these flimsy plastic trays. I have so many pencil sets, and I don't get a lot of requests to do color alongs with these, which is shocking because they have the 180, the 120, the 500, the 300, but they're just not that popular, or at least I haven't had a lot of requests for them. So, but I do plan to destash these soon, so I do have them still in the tin for that reason. Okay, more pastel colored pencils. Yes, I got these Arteza ones and wasn't very impressed, but I plan to destash those. There was like a pastel pencil fetish for a little while there in the adult coloring community. I also have the ArtFly 72 count pencils. These actually aren't bad. They're hit and miss though. You can get a really crappy set with them, but I'll probably end up destashing them because I never use them anymore. And then, also part of the pastel train, I have grabbed the Shuttle Art pastels, which, for the record, are the worst pencils I have ever experienced. They tried to do the Holbein look. Every single one of these was hard, scratchy, like it literally gave me a headache just to swatch them. So I stopped. Okay. I actually have, so I thought this was kind of funny. I have a 72 and a 36 count. These are my spare Indas. Aren't those gorgeous? Because like I said, you can't get them anymore. So when they kept going on sale or popping up, I would buy them. So I have a few backups. Then I have the Ohhuhu new colored pencil sets. Oops, this one's stuck on the tray. So I do have a full review on my channel, so go and check that out. These are actually really nice pencils. I was impressed. So they've got their color dipped ends. So they're actually a nice thick barrel too, and a thick core. It's a pretty chunky core. Look at that thing. So yeah, check out my full review on those, but they're not shabby. I need to get them out of this tin though. Okay, so I have the Derwent drawing pencils. I actually really like these. Derwent had sent out a thing not too long ago asking if people would buy or be interested in expansion sets. Yes, these are the closest to a Prisma that Derwent has ever gotten, and I love them. So this is kind of a muted palette. Let me see if I've got a swatch chart for you. Like I said, I didn't want to show every single one, but do I not have the drawing pencils swatched out? That's kind of weird. Guess I don't. I have Chrome Flow, which I rarely use, but yeah, I can't find it. It's a very autumnal palette, as you can see from like those lids, but you can do a ton with this. So let me know in the comments below if you would like to see me color pages with these and kind of show you how you can still do a ton with just these pencils. You don't need a huge set. 24 pencils can actually get you far if you know what you're doing. Okay, back to that stupid pastel train. This is the Kure Macaron. Everyone did Macaron. Now, you're going to notice that all of these are Holbein looking knockoffs because they're all white labeled pencils. So there is that. I will be destashing these. I have too many pastel sets. I do need to do my review and tell you which one is the best. Of course, the best is one you can't get, so I'm going to have to settle for a runner-up. But I will destash once I get rid of or finish that. Then I have StarJoy Gold, the 120 pencils. These are actually well used. I love these because they're beginner friendly. They're really soft to use, and they're all set up to be already like in blending groups. So if you're new to coloring, you'd grab these 3 and you have a perfect blend. You have your dark, light, middle. So I love that they did that. Now, do you have to actually use those? No, but when you're just starting out, it's really good to follow. And like I said, they're a really fun set, well balanced. They were created in collaboration with an adult colorist. So she kind of helped create a set that was curated for people who are starting out with coloring. And so that's what makes them pretty cool too. All right, Castell Art Gold 120. Now, I actually like these pencils. As you can see, I've actually used them quite a bit. I like them, but they're in my video where I say I like them, but I can't recommend them. And the reason for that is the price. Otherwise, if they dropped the price on these, I'd be all over it. So they aren't open stock. It's just a, you know, it's a bougie budget because you pay a lot for these, which is why I can't recommend them. But the colors were great. I like the performance of the pencils. Honestly, Castell Art, if you're watching, please lower the price on these. Let them be the budget pencil they need to be and stop trying to compete with the others. Or make them available open stock and then we can chat. But yeah, it's not a bad pencil. It's just not worth the price. All right, the Derwent Color Soft. I actually like these pencils as well. They're in my video where I said I love them but can't recommend them. I love all Derwent except for the next one I'm about to show you. I love the chunky pencil. It's just their signature style. The color range was really pretty on these. Right here, there you go. Bright and lustrous. I know they were trying to kind of make a Prisma-ish pencil here. And the reason it flopped is it's a little bit more crumblier and requires more layering than your Prisma. Prisma is just smoosh. But it's still a good pencil. I actually really like these. Okay, now here's the Derwent pencil that I'm not a fan of. So I have the 72 count set because Derwent sent it to me, and then they came out with a 150 set. I haven't taken them out of here. Wow, they even have dust. How did they get dust on the inside when they've been sitting here? As you can see, I haven't used these much. The times I have, I don't like them. I'm really trying though. I've had requests to use them in tutorials, so I'm like, ugh, okay, fine. I guess I'll get on it. I don't know if I have these swatched, or I know they're swatched, but oh, this is only the 72 count set. But then they came out with the 150. One thing I hated was they took away the chunky monkey, so it's this narrow pencil. The wood is cheaper, there's lots of splintering and breakage, scratchy cores. Like the QA on these just went way down. Quality control was just out the window. And I know they wanted to make them more affordable, but still. I don't know, I haven't been super impressed. I'm missing a few, but I need to play around with them more because I've had requests to do some color alongs. And who knows? I mean, I used to hate Pro Color, and now they're my favorite, but I really don't think it's going to be a turnaround for these ones. Now here we have a set that doesn't get enough love, and really should, but unfortunately I can never recommend them because they're really hard to get a hold of. So, these are the Derwent Expressions. Now, they have different lines, so keep in mind, these are the Expressions. They're 72. I used them for hair. They're really nice. So it's like a nice wood core, color dipped end. I enjoyed using these, honestly. They were really fun. And I've just kept them in the little tin here, but even their watercolor ones are nice. It's just they're not super easy to get a hold of, but look at the artwork on that cover. It's so stunning. Sometimes I'm a sucker for packaging, which brings me to the next. All right, the Derwent Artist pencils. You can get in a 100 count set, only in the box. Otherwise, you get the small little guys. Let me see if I can find the swatch to these. I know I have it somewhere. There it is. Okay. Sorry, I'm at the 120. The only way to get the 120 is in this one here. So here are the colors. It's a hard lead. In fact, it takes quite a bit to like layer these up. And I keep meaning to pull these out and try them for hair because I think they would do really good. This is like a full set of them though. They are a layering pencil, very hard lead. I'm a sucker for packaging. And there was like a deal or something, some reason I bought these. Can never take them out of here. It's stunning though. So it has that signature chunky monkey style, as I call it. But yeah, I really do like these. I need to use them more. Thing is it's going to be hard to do tutorials because I have the 120 count set where most people will have the 72 that you get in the tins, you know? So I'd have to go see what there is, but I keep meaning to test these for hair because these would be really good for hair. So I think I need to get on that. But yes, those are my babies. They don't get used much, but this is a collector's item for sure. Last but not least is my favorite set of pencils to ever walk the earth. Prisma. These are, if you've watched my channel, the obsession of my life. I can't live without them. I have 2 sets, literally 2 sets in leather cases exactly like this, one downstairs and one in my art studio up here. I also continually buy 150 count sets when they go on sale. There is not a single color I don't use. I blow through these bad boys like no other. I have an entire bin of open stock. And you're probably thinking, yeah, right. Hold that thought. Like I said, an entire bin of open stock Prismas and a whole bag to put away. Plus, I have a whole 150 count set that I got on sale that still needs to be put away. If there is a pencil you'll ever hear me recommend every minute, every day, any hour you ask, it is this one. Multiple reasons. Not only is it just my favorite and I use them all the time, but they have one of the most well-balanced palettes I have ever seen. 150 count. There is light colors, warm and cools mixed around, the most impressive selection of grays, yet you don't get shafted anywhere else in the palette. I have yet to find a brand that can rival the Prisma palette because when I reach for Prisma colors, I'm never going, gosh, I wish I had this. It's there. I've never found that in any other set. So am I biased? Sure, but I have used a lot of pencils. So I have plenty of years of comparison under my belt to say that these are the best for me, not the best for everyone. There's a love-hate with Prismas, but I'm going to share a really fun fact. Hated these when I first got them. I was so excited, jumped right on, went to use them, and then about cried myself to sleep because, one, they were expensive to me back then. I was coming off of Marco Raffines. And 2, I was like, oh, these are horrible. Why do people like them? But once I learned how to use them, they were great. And that's the big thing about Prisma. You have to use them right. There is a right and a wrong way with every pencil. Every pencil has a learning curve. And believe it or not, these are not beginner friendly at all. Because they are so opaque, that's one of the reasons you have to be careful if you're new with Prismas and kind of follow some tutorials, but also identify your style of coloring, because if you're heavier handed or light handed and love layering, these can do both. But you need to tailor your approach based on your style and then the fact that these are a very opaque pencil, very soft, creamy, so keep that in mind. And if you put too many layers, you're going to get wax bloom. So there is a heavy learning curve to the Prisma, whereas other brands are a little bit easy regardless of your style to pick up. And so that's why I always tell people, get a few open stock and try them out. But I always also remind everyone that I hated these when I first bought them. I hated them. I was like, oh my gosh, what a waste. And it took a while. And now I buy them in bulk, obviously, you saw. And they're the one pencil that I'll always recommend. If I had to get rid of all of my pencils that you saw today, I would not get rid of these. So you may have noticed, if you have watched my other collection videos in the past, I don't have as many pencils as I used to. I used to have a lot more than this. In fact, I have this swatch book is full of pencils that you didn't even see today because I've already gotten rid of them. Like my Color It, my Chameleon. Yeah, there's quite a few. All my other Castell Arts other than the Castell Art Golds. So I need to actually go through here and get rid of some of these. Because I have so many swatch charts in here and I'm like, I don't even have these anymore. Why are these still here? Because I did do a destash a while ago, but I'm actually going to do another one because I'm going to whittle down to just the pencils I use or need for tutorials. So there will be quite a few more that I'm going to be listing in a destash video, probably later this summer, so I can get through and kind of, you know, check and see what else. Now there are a few sets I left out of this collection because they haven't been opened and they're being reviewed. I do have the Castell Art Harmonious pencils, and then I also have the other Kure Expert, whatever. They added an extra term to it, but I'm not including those two tins because they're technically not in my collection yet. So that is my colored pencil collection for now. I'd love to know what your favorites are, or if any of these sets you've seen you'd like to see tutorials on, or reviews. I'm still working my way through reviews, and sometimes that's why I don't destash a set. But I do plan to do that pastel pencil review ASAP. So I will get on that very soon. But thanks for hanging out with me for a collection video. I tried to speed through and not make this super painful, but I'll leave links in the description below to all of the sets here. They are affiliate links, but I only get a kickback of a few cents and it doesn't cost you a dime. So if you ever want to buy any of those, keep that in mind. And until next time, take care. Bye now.